So you have just closed on your home and you are looking for a list of things that you need to do to make sure your new home is going to be taken care of. So these are a few things we're going to talk to you today, I should say, in regards to a few things we think you really want to make sure you're focusing on when you move into your brand new property. So brand new to you in the sense if it's a resale or if it's brand new in the sense of a brand spanking new builder home, we want to make sure you have an idea about what the things you should be focusing on. So with that, as we always like to say on our channel, guys, let the show begin because we're getting after it right now. If this is your first time to our channel, make sure you subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications in regards to videos that we are going to be releasing regarding real estate as far as selling or buying or basically taking care of properties, so forth and so on. We do tend to stray off of that. Sometimes we'll talk about great things in regards to helping real estate agents out there keep their content going, building their content, all those kind of great things. But today we're focusing on our clients. Those clients are going to be those folks that have just purchased their property, a resale property or brand new build home. We want to make sure you're focusing on the things you need to be doing with that new property. My name is Lavert Pompey Benefield. I'm a team leader and I'm a real estate agent as well. I've been in the business for 17 years here in the Las Vegas Valley. We have helped probably at this point just over 1,000 or so people purchase properties, sell properties here in the Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas area. So we feel as though we have some experience in that regard. So with that, guys, we put together this great list. Some of the things we encourage our clients to make sure they're doing. Some of these things are going to be the things you'll do probably right before you move in to the property or right before you get ownership of the property. But a lot of them are going to be basically when you have the home. What are those next things you want to make sure that you're being aware of? All that kind of great stuff. So it's going to be about 25-ish kind of things. I may lose track of the number, but I'm just going to start saying next, all that kind of good stuff. And you guys can count it up and tell me how many they are. But for right now, you're at least going to get more than 20 great ideas in regards to you moving into your new home and what you should be thinking about. So with that being started, let's jump in. One of the first things you'll want to think of course, is going to be the changing of your utilities. Now, again, this will probably be done maybe a week or maybe a week and a half before you actually move into your property. You want to check with your agent, check with your local utilities, which one of them do you basically can go in and get changed out, or you can just call over the phone and change. Which one of them do you maybe have to bring in your deed in regards to like showing proof of ownership, all those different types of things. So check your utilities, get those utilities lined up. We want to make sure none of your plants die, the grass is okay if you have grass. Here in Las Vegas, not so much. We don't have a ton of grass, but whatever those things are, make sure those utilities turned into your name or turned over to your name. The sellers may keep them going for a day or two after you close, but you don't want to rely on the seller in regards to how long they have those utilities. So definitely one of the biggest thing is make sure you're getting those utilities turned over to your name so that you can have power, especially when you first move in. You don't want to be worrying about lights on the first night that you move in. So get all those things taken care of. You don't want to be worried about heat and electricity and all that kind of good stuff. Gas if you need it for if it's a cold night, or if you happen to be doing fireplaces, whatever it may be, you want to make sure that you have all those utilities turned on. So that's one of your first ones. Again, I'm going to start out with maybe 1 through 5 and then I'll lose the numbers, but we'll just give you some ideas. Second thing you want to make sure that you do, you definitely want to rekey any entry into your home. Make sure that your doors, make sure your garage, even your side garage door, or if there's a casita, make sure those locks are changed. All those different types of locks are changed. You may want to change even the garage remote, all those different types of things. You might get a remote from the seller. You may not get a remote from the seller depending upon how many they have or if they have any. So make sure all of those different types of things are changed. We just never know who has copies of those things to your home, or copies to keys, copies to remotes. So again, we always encourage our clients, make sure we're changing out all of the keys in regards to also the fobs or whatever that may be. In that regard as well, make sure that you're going to know if you happen to live in a gated community. Make sure you're getting all the things that you need in regards to codes that you may need to get into your property, into your community. If you have electronics, so let's go into the third thing. Third thing is, well, you may want to make sure you're understanding all the electrical things that come in with the home. I say technology-wise, as far as when I mean electrical, but technology. Do you have all the access to those things. If for some reason the seller that's moving, maybe they have the passwords, maybe they'll be comfortable getting that information over to you so you can go in and change that information, because there's a lot of technology that's connected to homes these days. You want to make sure you have the ability to go in there and change those. Those can be from your smart to your smart, as far as the ring on the doorbell. It could be your thermostat. It could be whatever it may be. Make sure you have those passwords or codes if the seller is willing to give that information. So again, everything that's connected to the property as far as smart technology, make sure you understand how you can get those things transferred over to your name or get the codes so you can go in and change those particular things. So something else you want to think about when it comes to moving into your property. You're going to be getting a stack of paperwork, a ton of paperwork while you're doing the transaction. We always give our clients a folder. That folder, we always encourage them to make sure they're putting every single document that we give them, they've been signing, keep them in one place. When you go to do your signing here on the West Coast, we do signings with escrow or with the title company. So our escrow and our title company, we're on the East Coast, you're probably going to be working with an attorney or round table, whomever that may be. Make sure all those signings that you're doing and all that paperwork that you're doing, you're keeping them in one place, one folder, one package, whatever it may be. And I would encourage you to make sure you put them in a safe or whatever you decide to do. Make sure you know where all these documents are. You want to make sure that you know exactly where those documents are. You can go to that paperwork. You can see what information you may need. If you may happen to need your deed in order for you to, like we were saying earlier, get one of your utilities turned on or something like that, you have that information in regards to that paperwork. So again, keep your paperwork in one area. And then I would encourage you again, put it in a safe somewhere, whatever you decide, so that you know exactly where that paperwork is and you can get to it. Now, also in that paperwork, another thing you want to make sure you're aware of when you are first moving into your property, make sure you are going to be aware of who you make your first payment to. Let me explain. Who you start out with in regards to your lender, the person that you are getting your loan from, may not be the same person that you actually make your first payment to. Sometimes banks or loans or companies, whatever, they sell their paperwork to someone else that may take over your loan, and then you make that payment to that particular, that new branch, that new entity, whomever that may be. They're going to keep the same terms that you negotiate. Those terms will be still a part of that same thing, but you want to make sure in that paperwork that you get, as far as from your title, from your escrow, or maybe from the attorney or whomever, there should be maybe like some stubs or ticket stubs in there that will show you who you're making your first payment to. That's a very big thing you want to make sure you're aware of. Who you're making your first payment to and when that first payment is due. It is vital that you stay on top of that information. When you're working with, when you're making your payments on your mortgage is definitely not something you ever want to make a late payment on. It is one of the biggest sort of hits against your credit. Keep your credit pristine, keep your credit solid. Make sure you know when that first payment is due. Sometimes, depending on when you close on your property, you may have what is perceived like a free month where you don't make a mortgage payment when you first move in. But again, make sure you know when that first payment is due and to whom you're going to be making that first payment. And you should get that information inside of your package that you get from title, from escrow, or maybe from the attorney that you work with in regards to making your closing happen on the East Coast side. So I hope that makes sense. And of course, you can reach out if you need any clarity in regards to that. But very important, never want to be late in regards to the mortgage or really anything in that sense, to keep your credit nice and pristine. But again, mortgage is vital. And number next, we want to send out mailers. Let's let everyone know that you've changed address. You can send in your mailer, of course, to your post office, get your address changed, those different types of things. But in addition to getting your address changed, you also can send out mailers to friends, to family, work colleagues, whomever, letting them know that you have made a change of address, you've moved to a different area or whatever that may be. Get them up to date. Get on Facebook, let everyone know, all that kind of good stuff in regards to you making your new move, you're making a new life change or whatever it may be, and you're starting something new in this. beautiful new property. So make sure you're telling everyone in that regard. In addition to getting out that information as far as your mailers, you want to make sure you're changing, you're changing things like your driver's license, getting those things updated if you need to change those because you moved into a different state or whatever it may be. If you move into a different area, whatever it may be, get your insurances changed. We know here, when I first moved to Las Vegas, I lived closer to the Strip, and my insurance was so much more expensive in regards to the insurance that I had near the Strip versus when I lived further away from the Strip, like in Summerlin in the suburbs area. It was quite different. That number was quite different. Closer to an area where there may be a perception, there may be higher accidents, people may be driving drunk in the Strip area, whatever that may be, higher possibility of incident. So I changed my insurance when I moved a little bit further away, dropped that number significantly. So make sure you're making all those changes. Driver's license, insurance, whatever. If you need to update health insurance, all those things you need to update because you've made your changes. I'm gonna refer to my notes here really quickly to make sure that we're not leaving anything out for you guys here in that regard. Your voter registration, that's a good one. I wrote down voter registration. So when you're getting yourself into your new home, make sure you're registering for your voter registration so that when, of course, election time comes around, you are able to vote. A lot of people fought for those rights here in America in that regard, guys. Make sure we're taking advantage of that. If you feel confident, if you feel powerful enough, if you feel as though you trust the system enough, whatever that may be, and you vote, please do it. I would encourage you to do it. But everyone makes a decision in that regard. But change it so that you can make sure you can do voter registration, or you can get yourself in these elections, in these local elections, national elections. You can make sure your voice is being heard. So get your voter registration up to date. Next thing you want to do as well, change things like your filters. Make sure you have about 10, 12 of them. If you decide to change them monthly, whatever you decide, you make that decision, but make sure you have enough to change the filters that are in your home. All those kind of great things as well. Next, meet a few of the neighbors. I have found it very important for us to know our neighbors. We know our neighbors on our right or on our left. We know our neighbors across the street. We know our neighbors two houses down. It's been a little easier for me. I made the effort to actually help a lot of my clients in this area. A lot of our friends in this area, I've helped their homes. I've helped them buy homes in the area. So it's a little easier for us to make that initial introduction of ourselves and get to know the neighbors. We find it important because when we're on the road or if we're away, we know our neighbors are going to watch out for our home and all those different types of things. We're driving down the street, we text each other, your garage door is left open, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, I think it's important to get to know the neighbors. It's great. It's made us feel more comfortable in our neighborhood. We know people when we're walking down the street. They know us, all those kind of great things. I would encourage you to get to know the neighbors. It will help bring us together a lot more. So definitely get to know the neighbors in that sense. When you purchase, when you purchase your home, there's going to be a time where the sellers may be kind enough to actually leave you a list of vendors. Those list of vendors could be anything from, who maybe did the lawn, if someone had landscaping, or if they had a pool, who was the pool person. If you happen to have someone clean the home, who was the cleaning company that you use, or who were the people that you used in that sense. If you had someone take care of the roof, or if you had someone take care of whatever it is, the seller sometime will be kind enough to keep that list. But again, getting to know the neighbors before, maybe even your neighbors will have someone that they can refer you to as well. Hence another good reasons why you may want to get to know your neighbor. But at the same time, make sure you have that vendors list. Create a vendors list of people that have been servicing the home. And usually if there's someone that's already been servicing the home, familiar with the home, hopefully the seller, or maybe you can ask your agent to ask the selling agent to see if their seller will be willing to give you a vendors list in regards to upkeep of the home and all those different types of things, okay? In addition to that, you have done an inspection also on the home. We always encourage our clients to keep that inspection. That inspection is not necessarily going to be everything on that list you're going to ask the buyer or you're going to ask the seller to take care of. You may have them take care of one or two of those things, or you may have them take care of none of those things. But that information in regards to that inspection report that you have back as the buyer, if you did a loan on your home, if you did a loan, you more than likely did an inspection. Some of my clients buy properties cash, and they don't do inspections. But if you do have that inspection, you want to keep that inspection. It's going to be your guide in the sense of what you may want to do later on down the road in regards to taking care of maintenance of your property. So use that almost as a checklist of things you'll be doing in the future in regards to taking care of the property. So keep the inspection, make sure you know where that is. Maybe put that in that safe or whatever that may be, where you put your other paperwork with the home, with your deed and all those types of things. So again, you can refer back to those, okay? Next, you may want to sage, S-A-G-E, sage your home. You may want to bless your home, depending on if you have religion or if you're looking at that scenario. One of those things may happen for you, may not happen for you, but I have had clients, I have wonderful clients of many different backgrounds and beliefs and everything else. I have had clients bless their home. I've had clients bring in, people from the church to bless their home, or whatever that may. I have people who are not into the church, have no issues with it, and they bless it with just sage. And I've had some people do a toast or whatever that may be. You clean the home in whatever way you feel is important. And speaking of cleaning, yes, when you get your new property, you will have a sort of broom swept scenario clean, but you may want to deep clean the property. Really go in and deep clean the property. If you're changing out the carpet, maybe that part won't be necessary. If you have tile, have the cleaning people come in, or if you yourself want to come in and give it a nice deep scrub, really make sure you're preparing your new home for you and your things that are about to go into the property. So that nice deep clean, that nice blessing, sage or toast or whatever it may be, you have those options to make sure you do those things when it comes to your new home. And next, one big thing you really want to make sure you're aware of is where your main water shut off is with the home. Sometimes it's going to be either towards the streets or close to the house, or it may be in the garage, whatever that may be. Make sure when you're walking through the property, when you come through with the inspector towards the end of your inspection, we always encourage our clients to come to the end of the inspection, talk to the inspector. They're going to be the one mainly in that lane of professionalism, knowing what's truthfully happening with the house. Make sure you know where that water valve is, that main turn off water to your house. If there's a leak throughout the house for some reason in one of the different areas of the home, you want to make sure you know how to turn that main water shut off on the property. So make sure you're aware of that. Talk to the inspector. Your agent may not necessarily know that. It's not something that we'll necessarily know with each house, different builders, all those kind of great things. When you have that inspection, make sure you're aware of that. So definitely make sure water shut off. Number 2, your amenities that are around your house. Make sure you know where everything like your grocery stores are. Make sure you know where your hospitals are. Make sure you know where maybe the nearest police department is. Make sure you know where your a vet will be in the area if you happen to have pets. Make sure you know where a 24-hour emergency vet is. All of those different types of things, make sure you're aware of those amenities and whatever that may be. Next on this one, this is one that was interesting. A client suggested this to me. Actually, was it my client? No, I think my sister suggested this one. My sister threw this one out because she's a homeowner. This is one thing she did. She packed an overnight bag for herself. So if you want to pack an overnight bag for your family, imagine this first night in your home. You have everything packed, it's all labeled, but it's all over the place. You don't know if that box is on the bottom of that stack, where it may be, and you need certain things. So pack an overnight bag. Maybe that will give you 3 days worth of clothes. Maybe pack an overnight bag in the sense of knowing where, certain kitchen things may be, a pan may be, if you need to cook that night or whatever that may be. Make sure you strategize in regards to your first few nights with that overnight bag, and then maybe strategize in regards to the next 3 nights that you're going to be in that home, since you have so many things packed. Are you going to be eating out that night? Are you going to be eating there? You want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. When you're doing so much moving, you're running around, you're maybe helping with the truck, you may be not helping with the truck, you may have movers, whatever it may be, make sure you know how to set yourself up to comfortably be in that home. Again, taking care of yourself from clothing to nourishment to maybe having your bathing things set aside. All of those things, make sure you know exactly where those things are in your overnight bag, or maybe even an overnight suitcase for your family, whatever that may be, so that you can take care of yourself when you're first moving into your home. It is a lot when you're moving into your property. It is a lot when you're packing and you're unpacking. It would be great if you knew you had that mental security. This is the suitcase that we're using for the first few days while we're unpacking, whatever that may be. You have a few changes of clothes, you have your toiletries, you have whatever your pots and pans you'll need to take care of yourself if you decide to cook in the home, all of those different types of things. So make sure you have them overnight, first 3 days, sort of kind of planned out how you're gonna be taking care of yourself and your family, okay? Next thing you wanna be thinking about this, I'm gonna use my cheat notes here. We want to make sure that we're looking at trash day. When is trash day for your property? Do you know when everybody's sort of kind of throwing their things out? And maybe you can look outside, see if everybody's putting their trash cans out at a particular time. But make sure you check into that if you want to know when your trash day is. Next thing you want to do is this. When you have your first night in your property, your window coverings. Do you have something, if you're okay with window coverings? I mean, some people are fine with windows being open. I used to live in New York, and it didn't matter. You were on whatever floor we were on. You had windows across from you. Some people were fine with window coverings. Some people weren't. You sort of learn to block people out or whatever it may be. But at the same time, window coverings. Do you want window coverings if you have a lot of windows around the property so you can have that privacy? What is that going to look like for you? Okay, so that's what. Next. These are ones that some people really don't think about. There's a few of them I want to throw out to you. I have a list of things we're just going to throw out. So you want to make sure you look at the idea of homesteading your property. Some people enjoy this idea of homesteading. It's another little layer of extra protection. Google it, understand what homesteading may be. It's going to be different in different areas. What you may homestead in regards to what's happening here on the West Coast versus mid of the country, East Coast. Got to be completely different. So definitely Google it, see what it basically covers for you in that particular area. You make that decision if that's something that you want to do. But some of my clients do homestead, some of my clients don't homestead. So really make that decision in your own I can talk. Make sure you make that decision based upon the information that you check out in Google and everything else. Also, we want to make sure you do something like setting aside money. Purchasing a home, it is so stressful. There's a lot of money going on. There's a lot of money involved already. If you have the ability to have even more money set aside, you want to make sure you have that money set aside for maintenance, things that you're going to have to take care of in regards to taking care of the property. If there are any kind of big sort of expenses that come up from maybe something breaks or you need a new part for something, make sure you have that money set aside. We always even encourage our clients to get in the habit of pulling money out each month and setting that aside as a separate checking or whatever you want to do, but pull a certain amount of money out and put that over into that checking. Start saving sort of house maintenance money. Make sure you have a certain amount in that account so that when those things do occur, and they will occur, even on brand new homes, you're going to have things that will happen in your home that will need maintenance, that maybe all of a sudden that may be a surprise to you, and you want to have that confidence and that comfort in knowing that you have some money set aside. So if you have that ability, I would say encourage you strongly, start setting aside money each month, so just so you know you can take care of things when they do pop up in regards to the house. So that's very important in that sense. So another thing we want to make sure that you understand is confirming your schools. Where are the schools if you have children, or you yourself may be going to school? Where are the schools located? Make sure you know exactly where those particular things are. This you also want to make sure you're doing. Talking to a CPA, a tax person, a certified a tax accountant, whomever that may be, in regards to preparing your taxes, and so that you understand how you can take best advantage of home ownership. What are those things you can write off? What are those things you should be doing with the home? Talk to an accountant so they can help you in regards to really taking advantage of those write-offs. So I think we're dwindling down. We have a lot of things we just want to throw at you here, but I'm just looking at my cheat sheet, making sure that you guys have everything. And the biggest thing I think that I have not been able to tell you guys at this particular time is just this. You moved into your house. Enjoy your home. Enjoy your home. Home ownership is something you have worked your tail off. You have done a lot. You have stressed out. You have gotten things together. You have prepared for it wonderfully, whatever that is. Make sure you enjoy home ownership. Yes, it is a big responsibility, but yes, you can do it. You've done big things before. You're going to do this again. And if we can help out in any other way, if we didn't put something on this list, it's a long list. I think I probably gave you about 30 different things. So go back, use this as a resource, share it with other friends or family, and just let them listen to it as well. These are things I've talked to my clients about. Like I said, my sister gave me a couple in here. My husband gave me a couple in here. So we put things together so that you guys can get a great list in regards to making sure you enjoy your first few nights, years, etc. in your home. And if you need anything else, make sure you come back, watch our other videos, and reach out, and we would love to be of assistance. Take care.